In part 1, our personality profiling. Her Royal Majesty, Queen VICKYLEXTAR Omanye Royal Kingdom. Yehwe na brabo, yehwe ne kakra, yebusa Omanye nase, entiase abanti na ontiase a. Now I know you understand better. You understand the concepts very well. Are you ready to help society, to improve upon Obi and the Wankasa lot, so that we will have a world full of people who are happy and achievers? Then we live in unity. These were some of the things that I summarized as my points in the first leg. In the second part, we are looking at the various projects of the Omanye Royal Kingdom. Hope you'll be blessed. Thank you. The day's home as usual, and a day talk life with free bro. And I'm above some number this way chocolate drink, doing here in sushi. Let us see. Your Majesty, thanks once again. Before we ended the first part, you mentioned things that you do voluntarily. What are some of the projects of Omanye Royal Kingdom?
So our main projects are youth empowerment, we have women empowerment, but with women empowerment comes men empowerment. Okay. I'll get to that in a bit. And then we have the education and health. These are the 4 main pillars that we support.
Why youth empowerment?
Well, look at the youth today. Africa has, I think, over 60% of Africans are the youth. And the prospects are not there. Sometimes they don't even want to go to school anymore because they see the big brother or big sister who's finished their first degree and hawking on the street or home jobless. So what's motivating them to continue? And yet we have a lot of resources and we hear a lot. Africa is so rich, and yet the people are not benefiting. But if you're able to empower the youth, much as they're the leaders of tomorrow, I believe they're the leaders of today as well. Because there are a lot of people following our young people. So we need to direct them correctly so they get it. I lost my parents at a relatively young age. Many have lost theirs much younger. But for me, that took a lot from me. There were times I needed some help that I didn't get. And I want to be that. So I prayed to God, I said, what I can't get from people, make me that for others.
Okay.
So part of encouraging the youth, empowering them, is also to give them something that they can actually be proud of themselves, understand their culture. So now I'm speaking in Ghana, so I'll talk about African culture. If I was speaking in India, I'll focus about what they have as well to bring them up. So as I said, I'm not just about Africa, I'm for all people. But I am genuinely proud of my African heritage. And from that is what I've built, Our young people need to be encouraged, need to be empowered, need to be shown that we do believe in them. One of the things I've noticed, especially in Ghana, that young people we have 2 extremes. Either those who are arrogant and rude and they take it as confidence, or those who are extremely timid. So it's about really giving that balance, that you can be confident without being rude. You can be confident and you don't have to be timid. So part of our project is called Omanye Royal Hatchery, which will be launching in June next year. So the hatchery really is about hatching ideas. Like you have the eggs, right? It's hatched into a chicken.
Yeah.
However, if the egg is left in the wrong temperature for a long time, it gets rotten. Yeah. It's neither egg you can eat, nor a chicken. Right. So again, it's about getting them at the right age to be able to help them hatch their ideas to see how we can forge forward, to make them even job creators instead of just waiting for that next job. And there are a lot of different things that we can help them to do to actually start working for themselves, or even that they may work for somebody else, but do it in excellence. Working in excellence is something I've noticed is very lacking in our system. And everywhere I go, it's like, oh, don't waste your time. This is Ghana. This is how things are. I don't believe in that. I believe there's still a few who are looking for the right way to do things. Oh, yes. And those are the people I'm targeting. And I'll invest whatever I have in them to create this force, this movement of young people who are willing to have a different spirit, a different mindset, to know how to get what they want the right way and to fight for what is right.
Do you think culture, being well versed or well soaked in our cultural values, have any benefit to the development of the next generation?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And the reason we are struggling today is because we're not valuing our culture. We are letting go of our culture for the Western world. If it's from the Western world, then it's good. And sadly, they're not even copying the good things of the West. They're copying the lifestyle of ex-cons and different things. And because they speak a certain way, they think that's what's cool. And we let go. Who lets go of gold and goes for clay? And that's what we're doing. And so part of what we're doing as well is to allow our people to understand the richness of our culture, who we are as a people, and operate from there. I always go to knowing who you are. If you don't know who you are, the wind can blow you anywhere. Anything can sound good, and you keep changing like a chameleon. But when you come to that place of who I am, and that's where I operate from, then in that case, it doesn't matter what comes your way, you're able to press on and still remain true to yourself.
The more reason you keep dressing culturally.
So I add my own style to it, but I'm still very much, proud of our heritage. Whether it's a Ghana style, Ashanti style, Northern style, whatever, I am proud of our people. And this is where I got what I get from. Again, I like to tell people it is not because I stayed in the West. This is something I got from home, right here in Accra. And I've grown it into something else.
The hatchery, you focus on hatching ideas, nurturing the youth to be more independent.
Skills development, we have mentorship programs as well. We have even simple CV building. Sometimes it's more complicated than it seems. So helping them really to get ready for the future. So yes, the mentorship program, so we're looking for both mentors. We've got quite a lot of people who've are registered, but looking for both mentors and mentees as well to get them to that place, to be able to, and there'll be different courses that'll be offered to them as well, whether technology, business, self-improvement, anything that's going to prepare them for the change that's about to happen.
So it will be a center or be online?
Both.
Okay.
Both. And so because a lot of the mentors are both locally and abroad as well, there'll be the local programs and there'll be online programs as well. But this is not a one-off program. This is something we're starting that is continuous. So even when we start with the conference and everything, every month there's going to be follow-up. The mentors are going to be checking. There'll be regular assessments of where they're at. And those who are doing well, finding ways to get them job placements, doing different things. We really want to empower them, not just by having events, but actually getting them grounded in the system and getting them on that ladder.
The biggest problem of the Ghanaian youth, they see a lot of accomplished men and women around them. Having access to them becomes a challenge. Getting to know how they started, like the mentorship. Getting someone to hold your hand, to show you the right way. It's a bit uncommon. You ask those at the top, they'll tell you loyalty. When you bring them to your fold, you don't get the loyalty that probably you want. So it doesn't encourage you to go a step further. How will you do this? Will you mind the betrayals and that stuff?
When it comes to working with people, betrayal is definitely to be expected. That's one of the things I have learned along the way. You think sometimes that when you bring something good, everybody's going to be happy for you. No, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes even your own family may not necessarily be happy for you. Your friends may not be. But understanding why you're doing what you're doing and why you're getting the help you're getting. Yes, they'll be disappointed. There'll be people at the top who will be willing to help, and there'll be those who will not be willing to help. So it's about finding the right people who also have a heart to be able to give to the young people. There are a lot of people in the society who would love to help, but the right connection is not there. And sometimes those at the top, making themselves easily accessible as well, can create problems for them. Then they get texted every time, every this. But when it's under a controlled environment, they'll probably be able to say, okay, if I can dedicate X number of hours a week or a month, and it's supervised, they can do that. And that's what we want to focus on, to know that they can help, but their privacy will still be respected. They can help and the people will benefit, but will respect certain boundaries. So nobody is, unduly.
So this will be well structured.
Yes.
There are instances where voluntarily people had handpicked people who come to them, the youth. to give them skills, to help them acquire knowledge, or other things that will help them make it in life. Along the line, you see, they drop out because in the minds of some of them, they have to make it quick.
Sadly, we cannot avoid that because people are people. I like to be very practical. I don't give myself false hope.
Okay.
So even if we pick 100 people today, who knows? Even if 60 of them decide to go away after they get what they want and not give back to society, that's okay. The 40 that will take that mantle forward is so worth it. And so that's how I look at it, so I don't get disappointed. For sure, there are those who will come in just to take, or even take advantage, or even try and create on.
Even for some, they won't take the full advantage. When you start with them, you invest a lot in bringing their qualities or their skills up to speed along the line. Then they drop because they think probably betting will give them quick money. Probably any other social vice will give them quick money. So why do I spend 6 months? Why do I spend 1 year, 2 years to learn a trade, to learn or seek knowledge, acquire a skill before I can start making coins? So they are easily derailed from the core mandate. Anything to help them mentally so that they can focus.
Yes, I can understand the need to make it quick. I can understand them wanting to get something quicker rather than go through 2 years. But in that process, you learn so much more than that just making money. There are a lot of people who are very rich and very miserable. So money is not the end of life. Money is not the top of it all. But when they are able to be patient to understand that money will come. However, there are certain things that when you learn, when you get the money, you're able to even manage the money better. The money is able to actually enhance your life rather than just control your life. Because too many of them, they get the money and that's what controls them. At the moment the money is gone, they've lost their very self because that's what made them. So I encourage the young people, please be patient. There's nothing wrong with learning and making money on the side, as long as it's legit.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that at all. You can start making money from as young as you're able to create something. You can have the scribble called art and people will buy it. Sure, you're 6 years old, make money by all means. But don't let go of the process to be able to maintain that money and make something even bigger that will last so we can all leave a legacy. At the end of the day, it's not just about us. It doesn't matter how long you live here, you're not going to live here forever.
Omanye Royal Women's Empowerment. Tell us more.
So, I'm very passionate about the women empowerment. And yes, as you know, women have gone through different phases, both here in the West. It's not just African women that have gone through this whole thing about being, looked down upon in different ways. But today we see the woman stand strong and tall. The only problem I'm seeing as well is they have a lot of women who've been hurt by men. And so even in their speeches is very anti-men, anti-this. You can see the hurt, you can see. So unfortunately, we're ending up to reverse the problem. So first the women were abused, and now it looks like we're abusing the men. You have to trample on them to feel good. And we are not about that. We're about, okay, a woman, you got to be a woman or woman. You don't have to trample on the next gender to be good. And so sometimes we combine it with men empowerment. I'll call it empowerment as well.
Making it gender.
Making it exactly gender balance, right? Understanding that indeed, I believe that God created us equally. 80% of men, what men can do, women can do. There's a 20% that was created for men. And to be honest, I do not want to do it. Let the men do it. There's also a 20% that was given to women that only women can do. So yes, 100% we're equal. But we don't have to try and do their 20% to prove to them that we are as good. So with our women empowerment, again, it's about helping. It goes straight from deep down, helping the wounds of the past.
Okay.
Then when you're healed, you're able to come from that place of being empowered. Empowerment is not just by getting a good job, being at the top. Because if you can get that good job, being at the top, if you're broken from inside, you're going to break a whole lot of people along the way. So our women empowerment is a longer process because we start with the individual, helping them from inside out. And so sometimes we focus on the bosses. If you're able to help the boss, they have so many people under them that we can't reach, that they can reach and help them as well. right? So our women empowerment program, we have different things to do with it. Communities, and we believe in working with the grassroots as well to get them to that place to understand who they are, how to actually make the most in their communities and be a, power to reckon with. It doesn't matter if you come from the smallest village or the poorest village. You can be a woman that is empowered.
Why Choco?
I've been asked this question a few times. To be honest, I'm just going to be blunt with you. Choco was not even the place I thought needed help. But
Really?
I didn't even know, because I didn't know anything about Choco.
Okay.
After the wedding last year, we had done different initiatives. We are going to Ada with the Lifestyle program. Lifestyle program, international. It's about helping the pregnant women and the infants. And also we added the men, because sometimes you can have men whose wife just died giving birth. Who's going to help them? There's a lot of programs for the single women. What about the single men? We need to help them to be able to help their children. We had done that. We had gone to Kosovo. We had done so many things. But everything was a success. We finished. We stayed a bit longer. I was like, I'm looking for an area, school we can impact, just to say thank you to God for everything he had done. And someone suggested Choco. And I was like, interesting. And then what I heard was that the young girls, when they finish class 5, all they're interested in is getting pregnant. I was like, this is a joke. In Accra, there's a community that the girls before 12 years old, their only dream was to get pregnant. I was told yes. Because, and I said, what's the dream about? Because you get outdooring, you get cloth, you get this, you get that.
You cook food, variety of foods. We will come, celebrate, dance.
Exactly. That was the dream. Honestly, my heart broke. Initially, I laughed because I thought it was a joke. Then I realized it was serious in my heart. I said, here in Accra, not some 10 hours drive from Accra. So I thought, okay, let's go to the school. So we went to the school just to actually meet them. We spoke with some of the people. And I was actually quite shocked, and the excitement with which they looked forward to this dream. And I thought, okay, now Lord, we got to do something to change their lives. And then we found out a lot of times, because the parents are not even interested in them continuing school after that. And there was no money. So much as education is free, there are a lot of different things you got to buy that kind of makes it impossible for the poor to be able to afford. So we said, okay, what if we were to give you scholarships? That means there's something to look forward to.
Sure.
So if you pass class 6 well, you're going to get full scholarship all the way to university if you maintain 75%. And I realized that they were excited because now there's hope. So Choco, the story of the pregnancy, the teenage pregnancy, was what broke my heart. And when we went there and we went from class to class, we don't just go and donate things. We get involved with the people. We get to understand them. We did tests from class to class, and it was just impressed how much these kids, like, they really desire to know more, and they're smart. And even there was one boy in grade 5 who couldn't spell because it's Choco Presbyterian School. Who couldn't spell Presbyterian, because I did tests with them in each class, math and English tests. And then he couldn't spell Presbyterian in class 5. So I was like, but it's written right on your school crest, right? So you go learn it and then come and find me. I'll be in another class, come and find me. This boy went, he came back, he made a mistake, he couldn't. I was like, you can do this, you go. He came back 3 times, he couldn't do it. The 4th time he came, he did it. He should have seen the pride on his face. The fact that he kept coming back because somebody believed in him, that touched my heart. That by the end of that day, he could spell the word that he thought was so huge he couldn't spell. So again, seeing even their desire, that helped me. And now it's like so we organized, so I said, in their next speech and prize giving day, we'll give prizes. I was like, oh, they've never had. The school is over 70 years old and they've never had a speech and prize giving day. I thought every school in Accra celebrates that. Sometimes when you're privileged, you think everybody is too. So I was shocked to hear that. So I was like, okay, we're going to organize your first speech and prize giving day next year. They thought we were joking because people say things they don't mean. Well, we went and we planned and we got excited and we had their very first speech and prize giving day, giving scholarships to the top 10 students, top 5 and top 5 girls and top 5 boys. Because sometimes what I've noticed happening is that sometimes I get invited to university graduations and, oh wow, they call this girl cum laude, they call that girl, and the boys are left behind. But by empowering the young girl, if we leave the boys behind, guess who suffers?
All of us.
All of us suffer.
It gets back to guns.
It gets back to them. Then when they want to get married, they're like, the boy is not up to my standard. Because the boy was not helped along the way you were helped. So we believe in, again, helping the girl child by helping the boy child as well to be able to rise.
To that young lady, apart from Choco, there are other communities that, personally, I have visited. You will find girls 11 years pregnant, 10 years pregnant. They don't see the need for education. They don't see the need for skill acquisition. They think as a girl, as a woman, once there is a VJ, she can do business with it and survive, or can survive around it. To those younger ones who are of this mentality, any advice for them?
Yes, I can give a brief advice here, but what I like to do as well, if you know such communities, next time I come, let me know. I'd like to be with them, spend time with them, because they'll need more than just a 5 minute advice. They need investment into their lives, them even knowing that someone believes in them. A lot of times it's because they have no hope. They really, sometimes they're like, I don't want it, but it's because they think they cannot do it. By even bringing them to the place of understanding the value of being a girl, the value of waiting, the value of understanding, indeed, again, coming back to who you are, what you really want in life. And sometimes when you ask some of these young girls, what do you want in life? They don't know because they've not seen anything outside their circle. Exactly. So we'd like to open their minds to different things. So even with the chocolate that we're talking about earlier on, when some of my people from Canada were giving their testimonies of things they've gone through, like abuse and all that, some of them were shocked because they didn't think if you're born abroad, you go through things like that. They didn't think if you're white, because some of them were white, were sharing things of abuse and being looked down because she was a girl. Because one of them shared about the parents wanted a boy and got a girl, and the things she went through. So later on, the kids asked, is it really true? Yes, it happens with white people too. Yes, it happens everywhere. So with those young girls, I say, take it easy. But if you need help, call me and call this wonderful woman. We'll come to your community. We'll come and help you and build a strong community. And I believe in that. I believe that when we give our hearts to the young people, when they know that there are people out there who don't have to, but choose to believe in them, they can make a big difference. And you'd be amazed how far these young ladies can go.
To someone watching us today, there is this passion, this burning flame to touch lives, to empower people, but to get an organized entity to join hands with is the challenge. How can they, or how can people join the Omanyɛ Royal Kingdom that seeks to empower humanity?
Requests like this always make me happy because there's more room, there's a lot of work to do. We cannot do it by ourselves. We can only do it together. So anyone interested, please, you can go on our website, send our information, send us an email, who you are, what you want to do. You could be at admin@omanye.org. We'll get back to you. Just contact, there's a lot of contacts on our website, and we'll be able to work together. Someone might say, well, I have an organization. I don't really want to be part of Omanyɛ Royal Kingdom, but I like what you do. We believe in partnerships and collaborations. You don't have to be part of my kingdom. We can still work together. As long as what you have in mind aligns with our vision, we're able to get together and make a difference in the world.
I'm grateful for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
I pray by the grace of God, we'll see you more. We'll visit project sites. We'll visit Choco with you one of these days when we are going to Choco and other communities as well. Any advice, general advice for everyone who is watching so that we can bring down the curtain?
Right. My only advice is that please be proud of who you are as an African. Be proud of who you are, whether you're a guy, a fanti, who. And when we see another person with the same color blood flowing through their veins doing well, be happy for that person. Ask yourself what you can do to help. And then you'll be amazed. In my language, it's a saying that, which means if you don't want the next person to get to 10, you'll not get to 9. Sometimes by helping that next person, you also get to rise, and you get to rise. And they may even allow you to sit on their shoulders to rise. And what Omanyɛ Royal Kingdom is looking for is really, it's about mankind, changing the world, making the world indeed a better place, one life at a time. So my advice is, please, the least we can do to help humanity, let's do it. We don't need a million to start doing good. The very little we have, we can make a difference in somebody else's life.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I'm amazed.
Thank
you once again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So today it was an Omanyɛ thing, Omanyɛ Royal Kingdom. If you didn't know, now you know. Human development. Human development. irrespective of race or anything, but just to support humanity, mankind, living in unity. That's all Omanye Royal Kingdom it's about. You can join. I'm in. Hope to see you in. Together, we can. Remember, Ubuntu. Fadia Kanesoso. That's it. Talk life. Yes and no. And live well. The day's home as usual, and they talk life free bro. AG, Young Beauty Parlor, and the face beat. And then my father no, from my own wardrobe. Menjimi anko the day's classic, anko Giata Bintia. Assembling in no, but that's it. Her Royal Majesty, Queen VICKYLEXTAR Omanye Royal Kingdom no, kofa by. Ono enene yene ni share talk live so address nyina gu yen caption no eso die tre begin se be nshira de amaw me da wase so on it's nende talk live yes know and live well your social handles nyina Talk Live TV on both TikTok and YouTube, Talk Live GH on Facebook and Instagram. You be share ho no you be share bi on Talk Live so for now bye bye.